When my wife returned from her Pacific trip, I was waiting at the airport with flowers. She had been away for weeks, serving as part of a medical relief mission, and I was proud of her. But the moment she hugged me, I sensed something was different. Her eyes didn't meet mine the same way, her warmth felt forced, and she seemed restless. At first, I brushed it off, telling myself she was tired. Days later, she came to me with a worried expression and admitted she needed to see a doctor. She said she wasn't feeling well. When the results came back, my heart nearly stopped. She had contracted an STD. I was stunned, confused, and angry all at once. I knew it wasn't from me. That meant only one thing: betrayal. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I kept my face calm and pretended to be supportive, saying we'd get through it together. Inside, however, I was already plotting. My wife thought she had fooled me, that her secret fling overseas would remain hidden. She didn't know I had just begun my revenge. The first step was silence. I stopped arguing, stopped questioning her, and simply observed. She grew uncomfortable with my quietness, expecting me to lash out or demand answers. Instead, I smiled faintly, carried on with my routine, and acted as though nothing had happened. The silence was my weapon, and it was already working. Next, I started documenting everything. Text messages, medical reports, receipts, anything that could prove her infidelity. I wanted no doubt left when the time came. I quietly reached out to a lawyer and explained the situation. He told me I had a strong case, and that gave me even more strength to play my part patiently. At home, I began to treat her with exaggerated kindness. I cooked dinner, cleaned, even left small notes on the fridge. She mistook this for forgiveness. Her guilt made her soft, and she started slipping, making excuses that didn't add up, taking late-night calls, and pretending to go for walks. I didn't stop her. Every move she made was another nail in her own coffin. When she asked why I wasn't angry, I simply said, "You'll understand in time." That haunted her. I could see it in her eyes. My calmness became her nightmare. She couldn't sleep, couldn't relax, because she didn't know what I was planning. Weeks later, I staged my first strike. At a family dinner, while everyone was gathered, I raised a toast to her incredible sacrifices during her trip. Then, with a gentle smile, I said, though the real sacrifice was bringing something home she didn't plan on. The room went silent, and her face drained of color. She stuttered, tried to laugh it off, but the suspicion had already spread among our relatives. The second strike was financial. I had quietly moved our savings into an account under my name, leaving her access to almost nothing. She didn't realize it until she tried to withdraw money for a purchase. When she confronted me, I said, "You've spent enough already." Her anger boiled, but she knew she had no defense. The third strike came with the divorce papers. I presented them calmly over breakfast one morning, sliding the folder across the table as I sipped my coffee. She opened it, and her hands shook. You planned this," she whispered. I looked her in the eye and replied, "From the moment you came home with what wasn't mine." Her tears didn't move me. She begged, tried to explain, but the evidence was undeniable. My lawyer ensured the case went in my favor. She lost her credibility, her reputation, and eventually, a large share of what she thought she would keep. As the divorce finalized, I walked out of the courtroom free, holding my head high. She sat in the corner, broken, surrounded by whispers. Her betrayal had not only destroyed our marriage, but also her standing among those who once admired her. Revenge hadn't come from shouting, fighting, or violence. It came from patience, silence, and precision. I had turned her lies against her and let the truth do the damage. In the end, she lost everything she had tried to protect, while I gained peace. And though she might never admit it, she knew that the day she brought home her secret was the day my revenge began.